Black girl luxury has just been Black women spending money on luxury things or getting gifted luxury things and just living this luxury life. I was already in support of the girls, thrive. Spend money on what you want to spend money on, period. But when it became more of like this quote unquote movement, I was like, this is my thing. Hey y'all, it's your girl Funmi-Layo. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to like this video because it helps other people to see the video, and make sure to subscribe because we got awesome content on this channel. Today, I'm gonna be talking to you guys about Black girl luxury. It's been a big topic all over, I feel like, the internet, and especially TikTok too. There's been some backlash. There's some good stuff. Like, it's just been this whole thing. And, obviously you see the videos on YouTube. So basically Black girl luxury is, majority of the time, they're talking about the Black women that are buying luxury handbags, jewelry, expensive trips, living that life in the nice apartments. Black girl luxury has just been Black women spending money on luxury things or getting gifted luxury things and just living this luxury life. People will, on the internet, people have said that no, luxury is, luxury is the little things, luxury is whatever you define it. But when people are talking about Black girl luxury, that is what they're talking about, okay? That's what the girls is talking about. I'm here to tell you. I'm here to let you know, okay? So that's majority of the time, that's what they're talking about, although some people do define it as that. So initially, when I first heard about the whole Black girl luxury thing, I think honestly, people were doing it before. People were always showing bags on YouTube. People have always been, well, more so now than ever, people showing perfumes. And I recently just also got on that bandwagon because I just started really loving perfumes. Check out a whole bunch of my perfume hauls on my channel. They're perfume reviews, I mean. But people been buying bags. People been going on trips. I think now it's just like, it's now called the Black girl luxury. It's now like a movement, kind of like empowering that. And initially I didn't think much of it because people have always been doing that. I think the older I've gotten though, and the more I've started liking different things, I was like, yeah, that's dope. That's really cool. I like the bags. I love them. I never used to really be into it, but now I really like the bags, the luxury, the designer items, designer clothing, the nice trips and everything like that. I'm like, yeah, no, this seems dope, right? But then when it became like an official labeled Black girl luxury movement and it became more pushed, like, nobody really pushed it, but the more and more it became a trend and the more it became more visible with that label, and the more like I just started living life and experiencing different things and just gaining more knowledge and becoming more financially literate, I was kind of like, let me tell you, but I already told y'all, I was already in support of the girls. Thrive. Spend money on what you want to spend money on, period. But when it became more of like this quote unquote movement, I was like, this is my thing. My initial thoughts, and please watch the full video, so you can really understand how my mindset progressed through it. So initially, like, I didn't think much of it. It's cool. You're spending your money how you want to spend your money. You look good. Good for you. And then the more and more, I then came to this, then started having thoughts of who is this ultimately benefiting, right? It just seemed to me, it was capitalism at its best or worst, because now we as Black people, knowing our financial history and, the struggles that a lot of us face, although we're not a monolith, so it's not everybody, but now the effort, the magnifying glass now being placed on buying luxury and things to feel good kind of brought me pause, because ultimately, who is designing these items? That's all I'm saying. Like, ultimately, who is it benefiting? Do they look like us? You know what I mean? All in all, I'm in support. But I have to let you know the different stages of my decision of taking that stance, right? But I just ask that we just take a critical eye to look at all of these things, because, you know, in the long run, if we're not just thinking of, even if we are just thinking about ourselves, like, you know, this move to buy these things that we are not even creating is kind of like, ooh, okay, ooh. And they're not cheap, obviously, they're luxury. So I was like, oh man, I don't know about this. I don't know about this one. But at the same time, I like the stuff. And I too want to buy the stuff. And I too have bought some of the stuff. You know what I mean? I can't even lie. So maybe not the like super high ticket items, but some high ticket items I have, you know, dabbled in. So that said, I then started to think like, with this whole pandemic and everything, it does kind of make sense. Because I feel like we've all reached this point where we realize that we don't know when will be our last day. You know, tomorrow is not promised. So I'm thinking, okay, bet, like, okay, people, you know, retirement and stuff like that, you know, we're not really focusing on that right now. Put a pin in that. We're not focusing on that because we're now talking about luxury, right? But it makes sense, because if you die tomorrow, what's that retirement about to do? This, that, and the third. Like those are the thoughts that are running through my head. So I'm like, okay, so I kind of get it. It does kind of make sense. Like at any point we could die. So you should live your best life. You absolutely should, right? And I do think that to a degree, but I think that there is an assumption being made, right? That's why I said, let's put a pin in the whole retirement and investing and saving, that kind of note. Like, let's put a pin in it, because why are we assuming that? Just because these women are not talking about their investments and their savings, and we are just seeing, right? We are seeing what they wear on the outside, or what they have on the outside, or where they go on the outside, because granted, that's what Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, that majority of the time, that's what people are doing on these platforms, unless you have like a finance channel, or sometimes in a lot of women's lifestyle channels, they'll talk about these things as well sometimes. But majority of the time, people are coming based on consumerism, right? So why would we be mad that we are consuming, you know what I mean? Because I hope I'm explaining it right. So just because we don't see it does not mean that these women are not doing it. You know, we don't know how they're going about their finances. Clearly, because you can also find the girls on these apps talking about, y'all always show us stuff, but y'all don't ever want to tell us how you got it. Information is plentiful. Like, what? Every time I see those, okay, I'm never mad at it, because it does make more and more people share how they got into their different jobs. But a lot of people are sharing, though. Maybe it's just my algorithm. Everybody's algorithm is different, but a lot of people share how they got to different positions. Maybe not on certain specific. No. On every, I will say I've seen it on TikTok. A lot of videos on TikTok talking about how people are making money. A lot of videos on YouTube. A lot of Instagram accounts talking about it. Although I can't say that everybody has seen it with those comments, maybe not everybody has seen it, but at the same time, I'm happy they asked, because it does make more and more people share. But I don't feel like, I've heard the term like people gatekeeping how they got certain opportunities. I feel like people talk about these different things, and especially like the new thing now is getting into tech and everything like that. Like, oh, y'all never tell us how you get into tech. But maybe my algorithm is different, because my algorithm, it'd be full of videos talking about how they're getting into tech. I digress. How did we get here? So coming back full circle, we don't know how they're spending their finances. So I guess it does make sense that, it does make sense. So for the people who are just seeing the consumerism aspect of it, and they now want to know, okay, what about the finance aspect of it? I guess they want to know, and then it makes sense why people are asking the questions, because they want to know from those same people. And I think that because I see different people talking about getting money, I wouldn't necessarily And I just want to clarify, it's not that there's anything wrong with asking, oh, how did you do that? Because I'm always asking questions. I want to know. I want to learn. I'm trying to put me on. You feel me? But I'm just saying that, like, to start accusing people of gatekeeping or being like, you don't ever want to tell us, it's that tone. That's what I'm talking about, if that makes sense. Like, think of like, oh, you in particular kind of thing. You know what I mean? Or y'all in particular, because I see other people in that same sphere talking about how they're making money. So I don't know. So maybe that is why. But sometimes we assume, I feel like there's like an underlying layer of us assuming that these women are not saving, they're not investing, they're not taking care of their financial futures, and they're just buying luxury goods, which does not mean that that's the case. Just because we don't see it does not mean it's not happening, right? And that also made me like, I also thought about that. So I'm like, okay, yes, this part of their life, this choice that they're making to buy luxury stuff is, benefiting, like, people that don't look like us. But at the same time, we all do things that benefit people that don't look like us. Like, we all spend money on things every day that benefit people that don't look like us. And just because, another thing too, is just because people are spending thousands of dollars on a bag, it's not like, whoa, you got money, you can spend thousands on that bag. No. I really thought about it. I thought about it a couple years ago, was when I first thought about it. And I was like, yo, if you think about, you see all these people that have these like really, really expensive bags, expensive luggages. Think about all the money you spend on food. Okay, look. Because if you think, maybe it's just me, it could really just be me, but when I think about the money that I have spent on food, come on, a bag, like, let's be honest, some of us, I'm not going to put it on all of us because I am working on like my food spending. At least now, I used to just buy a bunch of junk, but at least now I'm spending on like real food and real dining restaurant experiences. But to be honest, truth be told, I was spending the money regardless. It was just like ordering food. But now at least I'm getting a restaurant experience out of it. But still, I'm trying to, relax with that. So it's not really, oh, sis, what are you doing to be able to buy that bag? It's like, how are we spending our money? Everybody spends our money differently. We're spending our money on food. Like some people spend I spend money on food. Some people spend their money on food. Some people spend their money on bags. Some people spend their money on experiences, right? And it doesn't have to just be trips, but like random experiences with the family. Some people like to spend their money on buying other people gifts. Some people like to spend their money on perfumes. Yeah, because perfumes get expensive. But like, we all spend our money on different things. So it doesn't also, I just want to bring this in the conversation, because just because people have these bags and stuff like that, it don't necessarily mean they're having it. It doesn't. I'm sorry. It doesn't. Because when you think about the money that I can't speak for everybody, but a lot of us, when you think about a lot of us, if we didn't like go out, let's say if we didn't go out for a couple months and we just saved, some of us could end up affording it. You know what I mean? Or let's say we just spend a couple months. Y'all know I spent a couple months at home. Like, you know what I mean? You're not paying money for rent. You can also do that. There are ways around it. It doesn't necessarily mean just because you are carrying something luxury, you have something luxury, does not necessarily mean you're just having it. And, oh, how did you get money? No, it just means they chose to spend money on that. But that being said, some of these girls got a lot of these luxury stuff. You know what I mean? Which is so cool to me. It is. I'm not going to lie. I love it though, because I'll get there. I'm trying to pace myself. I don't know if I'm going here and there and everywhere, but bear with me. But some of these girls, they do have a lot of stuff. So it's like, okay, clearly you do probably got money. You know what I mean? Clearly you do have some money coming in somewhere, or people buy you gifts or something, but you're doing well for yourself. You can clearly tell. But I just wanted to add that to the conversation. But I will say though, like, part of the reason that I just do feel like good about it, and why I do love it, is I do love to see Black women doing well in terms of like, and again, just because you have a luxury bag doesn't mean you're doing well, but I love to see Black women like having nice things. That's what I mean. Like, not necessarily, well, when they have a couple of luxury bags, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna lie, I will think that, oh, okay, you might be, either you're doing well in the sense that you're making a lot of money, or you're spending it smarter than me because I'm eating food. I do buy other stuff though. I do buy some stuff, but like, you know what I mean? I don't know. After a certain amount of luxury items, I do be looking at them like, oh, okay, yeah. You could tell after a while. You could tell. But I like to see Black women. It's good to see Black women not being in this struggle light and now being in this luxury light, right? I love that for us. I love us being seen as doting on ourselves, loving on ourselves through buying ourselves what we want. The only thing is, back of my mind, I'm thinking, who does it ultimately benefit? And are we securing that future bag, that generational bag? That's just on the back of my mind, just because, you know what I mean? But I love seeing us in this light. I love seeing us taking trips, having fun, like, being able to be free and being able to be comfortable enough to, the whole new thing, rest in our femininity and just be in our bag. I love seeing Black women in their bag. Like, by the way, have you guys seen the Selling Tampa? I just recently binge watched it. I enjoyed it. I just love seeing beautiful boss Black women, or just Black women with beautiful stuff. I just love seeing us having the best of the world, quote unquote, the best the world has to offer. Like, I love seeing us have luxury things. So I like that image being seen of us versus like some negative archetypes that are usually portrayed of Black women. I do like that that's there, but just in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, but who is this benefiting ultimately? But at the same time, if it's still benefiting us for now and it's making our days today more enjoyable, and these luxury stuff, like, it's some of them, some people argue that it's not, but a lot of people argue that it is more quality. I know that the perfumes, they feel good, they smell good, they make me feel good, you know what I mean? Like, so I know because of all that, I'm like, okay, I love that for us. I love the ability to have that. The thing about it is, some people had a little bit of blowback on the Black girl luxury. Like, I guess they weren't feeling it. I don't know. I'm not too sure. I seen a couple like comments here and there, but I think it was just came from like, I think it's people just getting, I gotta look more. I'll look at more videos, but from the things that I saw, it was people just kind of getting annoyed at how people are choosing to spend their money, or how did you do it? You're not telling me how you got it, kind of thing. But, at the same time, you can't be mad at how somebody's spending their money though, because that's their money. They made it. And you can't be mad because of people also not telling you how they made their money, because people don't owe us that. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, when you do have a platform, people are going to ask you, because you put yourself on a platform. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, we're not entitled to anything from anybody. And this is me, somebody who's like fans of so many people, like really like big fans of a lot of people. But at the end of the day, they don't owe me anything. I still support them. It's none of my business. You know what I mean? I'm grateful for anything they share. Like, girl, what? Like, no. I feel like to a degree, sometimes we can be entitled and think just because we're supporting people's platforms, or just because somebody shares something online, they have to give us every nook and cranny and every hair of their story. No, they don't have to. You know what I mean? Because the reality is, like, even if that person in particular is not telling us, this is how I did it, there's so many other people telling how to do it. You know what I mean? So I don't think that we should necessarily place that burden on people to say, like, anytime you show something, you got to show us how you were able to get the money for it. Or, oh, you show us stuff, but you don't show us how you made the money to do it. You know what I mean? I understand just asking a question, but to actually kind of give an attitude about it or give hate on it, like, I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something there. Let me know if I'm misreading it. But I do believe whether you support the person or not, people are allowed to keep things to themselves. So we can't get mad if they don't want to share. I'm sorry, we can't. You know what I mean? So it's just like, it is what it is. And then there was also like some talk about oh, what is luxury? Like, like how I touched on in the beginning, how some people are saying that anything you do that's a little bit extra, that anybody can define what luxury is. And then there's some people saying that no, there's like literally a definition for luxury. And I can't lie, I'm on the side that there is literally a definition for luxury, but it can be interpreted in different ways. Why I say this is because one of my favorite YouTubers, they are on the side of no, luxury is anything, you can make anything luxury. And I get it. You know what I mean? I get it. And maybe when I get to that point in my life of making, of success that she's at, then maybe I'll understand things differently. But at this stage of my life where I'm still trying to get to the bag, you feel me? But aren't we always trying to get everybody, even when you have the bag, aren't you still trying to get to a bigger bag? So there's that. But I'm still trying to, collect these coins. I'm still trying to get there. I'm still trying to get to that point. And not to say that I'll necessarily just be buying a whole bunch of luxury stuff, but maybe, who knows? I can't tell. But I just to have more funds, yeah, it would be nice. But but I'm grateful where I'm at right now. But anyways, more of the story is that I do believe that everything is not necessarily luxury, or luxury is not always everything you make it. But in the case of Black girl luxury, in the case of that Black girl luxury movement, no, it's if you see the trend, I think from my perspective, and I could be wrong, I'm very open to correction. Let's just be nice about it. You know what I mean? Please. But in the comment box below. But no, in my opinion, the luxury is literally luxury. Expensive people buying expensive stuff or taking expensive trips for themselves. But in the grand scheme of things, which probably I think the YouTuber that I love, I think that was what she was saying. In the grand scheme of things, I do think luxury is subjective, right? What might be a luxury for me might not be a luxury for you. Like, you know what I mean? In the grand scheme, like maybe like family time. If you don't have a family, or if your schedule is so tight, you never get time to spend with your family, maybe it's a luxury for you to be able to spend time with your family. Where it's dependent on each person's lifestyle and each person's mindset. I think that's where the subjectiveness comes in. But ultimately, all in all, luxury for me is freedom. Freedom to do whatever I want, whenever I want. Freedom to not have to do anything, to not have to do anything like in order to live. That, to me, would be ultimate luxury. I'm in a place financially where I never have to work a day in my life. Everything I do is a choice. Because you need money to live. So if you are at a place where you're financially set and you don't need to actually be working for money anymore, I think to me that's like the ultimate freedom, right? That's the ultimate luxury. So in that case, you know what I mean? Like, when you're just thinking of not particular to the Black girl luxury movement, yes, I think luxury can be subjective. But if we're talking about the Black girl luxury movement, I think it's very particular as to what the girls is talking about. So all in all, I love this for us. Another reason that I like that we're showing the whole Black girl luxury stuff is that Black women spend a lot of money. We spend a lot of money. And with this movement, I think what I hope that these what would you call them? These retailers and these different company heads and everybody is seeing is that we spend a lot of money, so respect us. Respect us. You need to be considering us in your marketing, right? You need to be giving us great customer service at these restaurants because we be eating. I forget I forget what the saying was or where I saw it. I think it was on Instagram or something like that. And they're saying Black women be spending more money than the dope boys. You know what I mean? So like, if we're spending that much money, treat us well. It's also a thing of like, because of color of your skin, sometimes things might not be the best in certain places, this, that, and the third, or there might be a presumption of what you're able to afford. There are instances of Black people being followed around in different stores and everything like that, but we're spending money. Like, it should be, now that, especially with this movement, I hope that it just shines more of a light on the fact that like, hey, we're spending money too. Our dollars also count because we're also significantly contributing, right, to people's businesses that don't look like us. So if we are frequenting your business, we require a certain type of service, and we should be treated a certain way. And basically, we should be treated just as well as anybody else. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be no situations of, the weird stuff where people talk about being followed around and things like that. So I'm hoping that also sheds light on the fact that, like, don't look at us like we don't got it. You know what I mean? Like, don't do that. Don't do that. You know what I mean? Don't treat us any type of way just because you presume because of a color of skin we might not have some. No, let's not. So I do like the movement for that. However, as I'm editing this, I'm thinking about it, but it also, like, it's kind of sad in a way because it's like the fight to be included, but really we should be sewing into our own spaces and creating our own spaces. So I'm like, it's conflicting. And when I'm hearing myself now, as I'm editing, I'm kind of like, this is a whole nother conversation in itself. But I mean, this conversation still stands because either way, we're still buying those luxury goods, but it's just making me think, But all in all, yeah, I'm a fan. I love Black women being able to have the money to do these type of things. I just wanted to shine light on the fact that, like, hey, let's also be cognizant of the fact that if we save too, we can also get these things. So don't necessarily feel, any type of way about the next woman who is doing that, because you too can do it. You know what I mean? So we can always, try and work harder to make a certain amount of money. But in the meantime, if you reflect, maybe some stuff that you have are luxury, and if they're not, it's okay. And if it's not for you, it's not for you. But for people who it's for, if that's how you choose to spend your money, you're working hard. Or even if you're not working hard, if you're just getting money or people are buying you gifts, okay, good for you. Like, if you particularly are not into that, then just let people have it. You don't have to necessarily put down people for what they want to spend their money on, because that's their money. You know what I mean? Or that's their gift. That's their life. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I hope I have articulated myself well enough for you guys to understand the message I'm trying to convey. But all in all, I'm for it. But the goal of this was also to see the different aspects of it. And hopefully I did that properly. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like the video and let me know other topics that you want me to discuss. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.